Good morning, Rabbi Isai.
Cool effect.
Jeremy Shayowitz. I'm so happy that the 8-minute daf is back. I have such a better understanding of the daf after watching it, and for that, I'm so appreciative. May all of Klal Yisrael benefit from your work. Thank you. He's a lawyer from I don't know where. This is Yisrael Goldstein. I was working at a golf fundraising event for Ezer Mitzion, and I bumped into Uncle Phil and the event organizer, Simi Shiger. How do you pronounce it? We were there saving lives for Ezer Mitzion through golf and saving our neshamas with MDY Daf. Lots of love, Yisrael Goldstein. I was having fun in America. A vart last night of one of your Talmidim, Amnon Newman. Dear Rabbi Stefansky, Mazel Tov last night in Boker Raton. Oh, Boker Raton! My wife and I went to a vart, the daughter of Rabbi Barak Bar Chaim. Barak, Mazel Tov! Mazel Tov Barak from Mendy. I was introduced to the father, the young man on the right. I asked the father, where are you from? He said, Highland Park. I said, the rabbi of my Gemara shares from there. He said, who do you do the daf with? Stefansky. My son also does the daf. So when I walked up to Amnon Newman, the chassan. It was like you always describe when people from Shir meet, we're already brothers. I can actually now proudly say I've been with you every day since a few pages before the end of Megillah. Mazel Tov, your student and friend, Simcha Firestone, Boca Raton, Florida. P.S. Rabbi Brody and I are working on moving the MDY Boca Raton group forward. Shkoyach. And this is Vanderveld. He brings in every day. You come to his restaurant, you don't leave without a Gemara. That's how it works over there. I forgot. It's like next to between Lakewood, and he has some very good desserts and stuff. Yisrael Meir Joselowski. Hi, it's Yisrael Meir. I was inspired by your share when you came to Lakewood, and I heard that you're looking for someone to spread the share. I have a jewelry store in a busy shopping plaza in Lakewood called Eternity Jewelers. If you need a place to pick up a Gemara and sign up for the daf, I can do that for you. Yishkoyach. He happens to be my cousin. Huh? Yankee Liba Reich. Hayr Shlita. It's Yankee Reich. I started doing the daf. I think it was Beitza for like 4 Masechtas. Then I was on and off with Yivamis. Yeah, like many others. But Baruch Hashem, been on the track since the beginning of Kesubos. It's not about the daf, it's about the Yomi. I was at Bellworks, and I was by Chestnut when you were giving the shir, one of the evening. I love it looking around and seeing every type of Jew in your shir. Your shir is meant for any type of person. It's unbelievable. When it's by Bellworks, I told somebody it could have been called Nikadesh. The event should have been called Nikadesh because the real Kedush is seeing the whole Klal Yisrael together. Achdos. Here is a video attached to my 3-year-old teaching my 2-year-old how to learn. Thank you so much for all the hard work. I guess I don't have the video. Oh, no, this is somebody else. This Rabbi Isai is a classic. Duty Schiff. Dear Rebelli, I try my best to recruit my 3-year-old sister for MDY, and this is all I got.
Good morning, Rabbi Isai.
No.
That's it. Ooh. Rabbi Isai, big news. Very, very big news. Finally made it to the cover of Ami magazine. But what do I mean? This is chashiv because more people are going to learn Torah. Nothing to do with gaiva. Nothing. They're laughing. They're pashut laughing.
It's all for the share.
It's all lahagdil Torah lahadira. I'm not kidding. Every time I did one of these interviews, many people joined Torah. And I'm hoping that many people, I have a tremendous hakar satayv to Rabbi Yitzchak Frankfurter, the owner and the one who interviewed me. Tremendous interview. Tremendous. It was very, very. I don't know. He made me feel comfortable. I felt great during the interview. He's great.
What time is the book signing or the magazine signing?
$180 per signed copy. Rabbi, say, show this to people that are not doing the daf yet. Tell them to read the article and don't buy up all the copies. Leave some for others. Rabbi, say, leave some for others.
It's the greatest interview ever. Tremendous.
I am going to sign this one for Jonathan Stefansky, the Let's, who doubts me. So true, so true. Boys, the month sponsor is anonymous, but Yeah, the Koil month sponsor, anonymous, but it's zchus. All the new guys that are joining the daf, all the new guys. The Koil sponsor for one day by David Reich. Lili Nishmas, my father, Rav Rom Kalman. I don't know. I don't have the name correct. It's backwards. I hope it's Rav Rom Kalman ben Shmuel, but it could be a mixture over here. Survivor of 7 labor camps. Wow, 7 labor camps. The Masechta sponsor Leilul Nishmas Moshe Elazar ben Nata Shalom and Leilul Nishmas Baruch ben Moshe Aaron and for hatzlacha b'chol for my children. The second Masechta sponsor is Jeff Rosner and zchus of my son Yosef Simcha ben Sarah Chana Refuah Shlaima. Parnas HaChodesh ben the Lock and Lebovic families from New Jersey, Lakewood, because Torah is the best segula, a registered trademark of B3 bicycles. Not true. Torah is the best segula is an altazach, but he wants to register. Let him register. Parnas HaChodesh number 2 has a zchus for our children to be kadosh, safe, healthy, happy, and know Hashem loves them. Parnas HaChodesh 3, Shragi Chafetz RL149 is a zchus for my family, myself, and the Tzaddikim of RL Hatzalah. Parnas HaChodesh number 4, Leilul zechariah ben Moshe. Parnas HaShavua, Akilov family, Lili Nishmat Eliyahu ben Bakamal Akilov. Parnas HaYoim, happy birthday to my wife, Elisheva Leah, and daughter, Sarah Nechama, with brachot. Parnas HaYoim, Yaakov and Malka Slatis as zchus for the continued refuah of our son, Alter Yeshaya ben Malka Chaya, Refuah Shlaima. Zevi Schuster, Rabbi say, Nacham, I'll have to say this again. Nobody said Amen. As a zchus for the continued refuah Shlaima of our son, Alter Yeshaya ben Malka Chaya, Refuah Shlaima. Zevi Schuster by Nacham Mastofsky, Refuah Shlaima. Nechama Yal Bas Dvor Chava, wife of our close friend and MDY, family member, Refuah Shlaima. Kalman Shmuel ben Avram. Who's that?
That's what you're saying.
Oh, that's how it was. Let me see. I'll say it again. Kalman Shmuel ben Avram. Lili Neshama. Okay, we have a very exciting daf today. A lot of good charts, bringing back some characters from Yevamis. Says the Mishnah, brand new Mishnah Daf Amud Beis. Today's Amud Aleph, 20 daf into Kesubos. Time is flying when we're having fun. So we're talking about authenticating shtaris. And the shtar has 2 signatures. Each signee says about his own signature, it's mine, and I'm going to testify about my friends. So it's very interesting. If you think, we didn't really think about this that much. So now we have an opportunity to think about it. What exactly are these Eidim testifying about when they come and they testify? They're testifying that these are their signatures, or are they testifying that what it says in the shtar is true? What are they testifying? It's a big shaila. Now over here, from this lashon and this shita of Rebbe, you could see what each one holds. What they're testifying is not the shtar as much as their own signature. Now you'll figure out that if the shtar has signatures, it's a good shtar, but that's your thing. We're testifying about our signatures. So therefore, each signature, very big nafkamina. If I'm talking about the shtar, so Ruvain is testifying about the shtar, Shimon is testifying about the shtar. How many Eidim do I have for the shtar? 2. But if I am testifying about my signature, so that's 1 testimony on 1 signature. Put it to the side. You testify on your signature, that's 1 testimony there. So I don't have two Eidim on any signature. I only have 1 Eid per signature. Therefore, says Rebbe, I'm also going to testify about my friend. And therefore, each signature has 2 Eidim. So great. But what if they don't testify about their friend? They don't know about the friend's signature. They weren't there. Whatever, they didn't see, they didn't notice. So I testify about myself. I'm selfish. Myself, and he about himself. So if I were to ask you right now and here and now, what does Rebbe hold? Rebbe holds that the testimonies on their eidos, on the chasima only, not on the shtar. Chacham hold that they're being made on the shtar itself. So if I'm being made on the shtar itself, I have 2 beautiful eidim that are being made on the shtar, Reuven and Shimon. I don't need a 3rd one. Elo neman adam loymar ze ksav yadi, and therefore each one could just testify about his own ksav yad. That's probably how he thought yesterday, before we even saw Rebbe. And the story says the Gemara, When you look deeply into the sugya, l'divrei Rebbe, top of Daf Chof Aleph from Amud Aleph. So what are they actually testifying? They're testifying about their handwriting, about the signatures. But according to Chachamim, it comes out that they're actually testifying about the shtar, and therefore there's two edim. Says the Gemara Pshita. I have to say that when I saw this Pshita, I was a little taken aback. I felt like a loser, like somebody that doesn't understand, because it wasn't so pashut to me. Like you have to look deeply into the Mishnah kind of to figure it out. But I guess after you explain it, after you see it again, it's pashut. So there's no need for the Gemara to even explain it. It's obvious that Rebbe holds that they're testifying on the Eidim, and Chacham are testifying the testimonies on the Shtar. Says the Gemara, Mao the same Rebbe Sapuke Misapkele. I would think that maybe Rebbe wasn't so sure exactly how it works. Because really, Chacham are right, testifying. But maybe Rebbe's a little machmer, he had a little bit of a suffix. And what's the difference if he had a suffix? So, check this out for a second. Here you have some sort of shtar, a get, a shtar. So, Noam Fix, who's spacing out, I just called his name because I wanted to, okay, on the phone. So, whatever, I had to call you Abarab. It's not a issue. You have Yossi Kleiner and Noam Fix. Each one, by the way, if you don't behave, I'm going to do one of these to you. So Noam Fix is being made on his signature, which is only 25% of the whole shtar. Why? Because Yossi Klein is also testifying on his signature, which is another 25%. Together you have 50% on that signature. Then they both testify on the signature above that, 25 each, 25 each. The Kitzer, each one is testifying 50%, but you break it down per signature. 25% out of the 50% that each witness is being, there's 50% weight to each witness on the shtar. 25% goes to the signature, 25% goes to the other signature. Okay, so 2 blues, 2 reds. And together you have 100% of the whole shtar. What happens if one of the Eidim goes bye-bye? By the way, if anybody has this character, when I was away in America, the mice were playing and they took the characters and they took them home. They belong to MDY. So if anybody has them, I know they took them to, we still need them. So please bring them back. Yishkoyach, they're expensive and we like them. And I want to give one to Noam. So if you have Noam, it went bye-bye. Okay, that's what I meant by going bye-bye. So it went bye-bye. Now we bring in Avi. Avi is going to testify to what's going on here. He's going to help because we don't have an aid anymore. We need another aid. What comes out is, since Yossi Klein is also testifying on that eidos, and Avi is just testifying on one eidos, it comes out that we don't have a pishnei eidim or a pishlei eidim yakum davar. The halacha is that each aid must have 50% weight. You can't have an aid that testifies on more than the other aid, on 75%. What happens is over here, it comes out, let's see if I have, I thought I had a different one. Okay. Woo! Let's go back. No. It says al pishnei eidim, but it has to be divided equally. Each one, that's how we learn from the pasuk. That each one, it's 2 that combine for one whole thing, 50% on you, 50% on me. But if we're doing it this way, this is the picture I was looking for. Yeah, it actually says it here. Yossi Klein is made on his Eidos, that's 50%, plus 25% on the other one. It's Barach, we're just throwing it out. But it comes out that Yossi Klein takes more weight than Avi. He's doing 75% versus 25%. And that is illegal, that's not halachically correct. So if so, it's not going to be enough to have just Avi. We're going to have to do this. We're going to have to bring in Dr. Factor. So now it's evenly, we don't need to come on to Yossi Klein for the second. Yossi Klein will take care of his. Avi Factor and Avi Kamyansky, the Reuben and Levi, Shimon and Levi, they'll take care of the second signature. In Shalom Yisrael, we have 50-50. Everything is good. So that's the Shaila. If Abaya wasn't 100% sure, if Rebbe wasn't sure that they're testifying on the Chasimos, maybe they're testifying on the Shtar, then you're going to need to bring in reinforcements. You're going to need to bring in 2 more Eidim. If you're testifying on the Chasimos, so one guy, Avi Kamiansky, is enough. If you're being made on the Shtar, by the way, you say made on the Chasimos, I'm made that I signed on a good Shtar, but I'm made on my Chasima. If you're made on the Shtar, then you're going to need 2 guys. Says the Gemara. So just say it inside. If one of the Eidim died, perhaps you need 2 extra Eidim, like in this chart. Because if not, then you have a problem that 1 Eidim came kanofik nechi riva the mamayna 3/4 of the shtar apuma the chatzahada. You're going to have this situation where the guy with the shraimel is doing most of the work. If you have a guy that's dead or not dead, both cases we're going to go l'chumra. Kamash malon the Rebbe mifsha pshitalei bein lekula bein lechumra. That's why the Gemara has to speak it out and say no. Rebbe actually holds, and he's certain of his shita, that even if it means that all you need is 1 aid, like in this case, but because they're testifying about the chasimais, then 1 aid is enough because he's helping out. Rav says if one of the Eidim died, so you see, here's a shita that says that you need 2 Eidim to come and reinforce, like over here. But Bezu Rebbe Lekula, and over here Rebbe says no, you don't need Dr. Factor. Without Dr. Factor, it's enough. However, Rabbanan L'Chumra, Rabbanan are the ones that hold that you need 2 Eidim. Says the Gemara, what do you do? But what if you don't have a Dr. Factor? The guy had a very good shtar. It says somebody owes $1 million. He did what he had to do. He has 2 Eidim that signed on it, and one of them went bye-bye. Now what? He's up a creek. He can't use his shtar. What are you going to do? Says the Gemara, an incredible eitzah. V'ileket trei lachan. Mai. Amar Abaya lichtov chasimas yodei achaspa. What you do is, if I could get there. Here. Yossi Klein takes his signature, puts it on a piece of pottery. And then he gives it into the Bezdin. He throws it to the Bezdin. The Bezdin says, oh, this is Yossi Klein's signature. Now I no longer need Yossi Klein for a signature. Now I can rely on the piece of pottery. And then Yossi Klein goes together with Avi, and now together each one has 50% of the other chasim. Interesting trick. I know you're not happy about it. No, I see already in your whole... No? You're about to ask a question. Oh my bad. Lichtov chasim asyodi achaspa. V'shadilei beidina, and he tosses into the bezdin. Umachzikilei beidina, and the bezdin could be mekayim that chasima. V'leitzorich iu la'asudi chasim asyodi. So he doesn't come along and testify at all on his own signature. V'azaliu v'hai, and then Yossi Klein and Avi get together and umasadei idach, and they say testimony on the remaining signature. Says the Gemara, v'dafka achaspa. You have to use a piece of pottery. Why? Aval amigilta loy. To write it on a piece of paper is a terrible idea. Dilma maskach lo inish deloy mali. You're going to have a guy that's not very good, not a good guy. Because he's going to take his signature and write on top of it, so and so owes me $1 million. Or he'll say, I borrowed. He'll write. You have a signature, Reuven signs. And he'll write, I, Reuven, borrowed $1 million from Shimon, signed myself. Now, typical shtar has 2 Eidim. Typical shtar has 2 Eidim. This is not a typical shtar. What is this? This is a handwritten document from the Baldover himself, from the borrower himself, with his own signature. Okay, it's not as powerful as a regular shtar, which I could go and collect collateral and real estate that he sold, etc. But it's a very good document. A lot of times we do that. No, handwritten shtar here. Take my handwriting, one chasima for myself. And it says before in the Mishnah, if you have the guy, the borrower's handwriting, okay, you can't go after nechasim mishubadim, but b'nei chayrin you have available nechasim you could take from there. Taisus points out, there's another way to do it. The concern is here a ma'aseh shahaya with the minchas yitzchak. A guy came to him with a shtar, so and so owes money. They both came to Bezdin. The minchas yitzchak looked at it, and he saw that the handwriting, the chasima, different inks, he didn't like what he saw. So he asked the borrower, what happened? He says, I don't know this guy. I never borrowed money from him. So he says, do you have any svarim at home that you signed your name on? He said, yeah. He says, come, bring the svarim. He brought, and he saw that he signs his name in his svarim in the middle of the page. And then they found the sefer that was missing the first page, and he put the page in, and it matched perfectly. Ma'aseh shahaya with the minchas yitzchak. And that's what Taisus says over here. If you write your signature on the top of the page, so nobody can write above it. They can write below it, but that's not a shtar. And that's also an eitzah to get out of it. The Gemara, and he brings the Gemara in Bava Basra. I happened to do Chazar in Bava Basra 20 times. I wants me to see him on Bava Basra 20 times. I don't remember a word, but I remember this Maisa. You remember the Siyum. It was a pretty good Siyum, no? Like an eight course. You were also there. Yeah, it was when the shir was it was before the shir. What shir? We had the Thursday night shir. What are you talking about? 5 years ago. Okay. So anyway, but I didn't tell people at the Siyum that I did a Chazar 20 times. That was just later. I let everybody know. Ba'anava. I did it ba'anava. What? No, I wasn't into this whole thing of bragging in order to encourage other people. Yeah. Make fun, I don't care. It should be a zchus for my sons. Yeah, okay. So true. There's a Gewaldige Maisa there where a guy that collected taxes, he went to Abaya and he says, listen, Reb Abaya, a lot of Talmidei Chachamim come to me and they say that they're Talmidei Chachamim, and they say even Abaya says so. But I can't trust them. I don't have your signature. I need to compare your signature with the documents that they're giving me. Please sign over here. So Abai took the document and he wanted to sign on the top. And as he's signing on the top, the guy starts pulling the document down. So Abai is pulling. And Abai told him, Kadmu Chachamim, or Rabbanon, whatever the Lashon over there is. In other words, I know your trick. I learned it in the Gemara. Stop pulling the document. Let me sign on the top where I'm supposed to sign. And you see what the guy was thinking. The guy wanted Abaya's signature on the bottom. Then you're right, Abaya owes me this and this and that. Okay. So here you have the side of what Taisus is saying. You could put your signature and give it to Bezdin on a piece of pottery or on top of the shtar. Omer Rabbi Yehuda Shmuel. Comes Shmuel and says, the famous, and here again you have Rav Yehuda, who is a Talmud of Rav and Shmuel. And he always quotes Rav and Shmuel. And over here he says, Shmuel said, the halacha is Kedivrei Chachamim. That what? In the Mishnah? Like we always thought until today, that every aid testifies about his signature in Shalom Yisrael. Pshita. What's the chiddush? You have Rebbe, who is an individual, against 100 Chachamim. Why should Rebbe win? Yachid v'Rabbi, halacha k'Rabbi. Says the Gemara, Ma'od the same halacha k'Rebbe mechaveiroi. There is a yisoid in Shas that when Rebbe argues with any one of his friends, he always wins. So I would think, and maybe even when he argues against 100, Shmuel says the halacha is like Chachamim, not like Rebbe. Simin, Nach, Nad, Chad. This is where I think Breslov got their thing from. Nach, Nad, Chad. And these are just abbreviations of the names we're about to learn. It didn't help me much. I hope it helps you. Omar le Rav Chinina bar Chia. Here, you see, that's Nach. You have the nun of Chinina and the ches of Chia. because we have double names here, so they're using one letter from each name. Va'amri la, Rav Huner bar Yehuda, Rav Yehuda. Va'amri la, Rav Chier bar Yehuda, Rav Yehuda. Okay. Umi Rav Shmuel Hachi, the Shmuel in fact said that looks like Chachamim. Va'u shtar the nafek me beidino demar Shmuel. There was once a shtar in Shmuel. Shmuel, you said all you need is one signature. Wait a minute, there was a shtar that had Rebbe Shita. Va'veksiv bei mida asa Rav Onan bar Chia va'asid achasimus yodei va'dachadi mei. Oh, here's a problem. He testified on his signature and the other guy's signature. Umanu, who's the another Talmud Chacham, Rav Chanan bar Rabba. Umida'asa Rav Chanan bar Rabba, and the other signee, Rav Chanan bar Rabba, came along and he testified on his own, and on the second signature, that's Rebbe Shita, that you always testify the second one. Umanu Rav Chanan bar Rabba, and this all happened where? In Shmuel's Bezdin. And you said, Shmuel says, you don't have to testify about your friend, just testify about yourself. And what do they say? This is called a hempik. We say, we testified, the Dayanim say, it's a great shtar. Over there, it was different. Over there, they're orphans, Yisayimim, and we have to be super careful for the Yisayimim. Shmuel is concerned, lebezdin tayin, maybe the Yisayimim will go to the wrong bezdin, the bezdin that thinks that the halacha is like Rebbe. Why do they think the halacha is like Rebbe? Because the halacha is always like Rebbe, anytime you argue, besides Mechaveirav. But in this case, happens to be maybe Rebbe's has a stronger taina than Chachamim, and they decided on their own to pass like Rebbe, and require that each aid testify about his friend, and they look at the shtar and they say, sorry, Yisayimim, we can't give you any money because they only testified about themselves, not about the friends. Over here it's different. The super Talmid Chachamim, this Bezdin, and they paskin wrongly. So let me just be a little careful. A one-time thing, let me be careful for Yisayim. Don't learn any halachas from this. But in fact, Shmuel passes like a Chum, not like Rebbe. Shmuel. Yeah, I know, I thought about that. Yeah, that's why I stuck in. What did I stick in? For this one time. You say, you gotta be careful. They're always very careful. You see in Gemara, they're always careful how to act because people are going to learn from the way you act, and now people are going to learn. Okay, fine. But it's mefurish Gemara that we don't pass. Okay. And Shmuel himself, darshan, that the halach is like Chacham, not like Rebbe. Rav Yehuda Shmuel. Huh?
That's how children learn.
Talmidim, yeah. Eid v'dayin mitztarfen. Oh, let's see if we have a thing here. Oh, I just want to show you real quickly if I could zoom forward here. Okay, this is a hempik. Hempik says, Ashrunui v'kamnui, we're mekayim the shtar, l'shtar denan the shtar, b'moisav tlasa. In front of three of us, dayanim. Okay, that's what it says. Now we're going to the small over here. Okay. So you have three dayanim that testify and they write a little hempik, a little black thing over there with the white letters, and they write that we testify, we saw in front of us, they came and we verified and we I'm looking for the other word where they interviewed Eidim. How do you say? They interrogated Eidim. Good. They're good Eidim. Noam, Yossi, they're good, and then they write a hempik. Now, what happened is the guy goes with this hempik, and he goes to collect. What does the mechutzav do? He says it's a false shtar. Yesterday we were in Bezdin. 3 dayanim wrote a hempik. They said it's a good shtar. No, I don't want to pay. It's a bad shtar. Go prove it. Your whole hempik is false. So he goes back to Bezdin. And they're not in session today. So the guy with the Hamburg, the N guy, the guy with the Naftali, he goes together with Yossi, who's an aide, and they say this shtar is a good shtar. Naftali is going to say, Reb Naftali, Hagoyin HaChoshev, a Hamburg with the frat guy, Reb Naftali, the Shiva, he's going to testify that he wrote a hempik. Yossi is going to testify that he has Eidos, but that it's his signature. They're both testifying it's a good shtar. Bottom line is they're both testifying it's a good shtar. Well, I don't need dayanim again. I don't need to go through the whole process. One from here, great. Omar Rami Bar Chama, Kama Mal Yoshmaitz, I love it. It's unbelievable chiddush. I could take one dayan, one aid, put them together. Boom. Now, real quickly, the Maharsha says over here, I don't understand. There's an isser to even use those words. How could I say about a piece of learning? This is great. It's unbelievable. The Ben Yehoyada explains, when you say, oh, that's a beautiful piece you're saying, you're insinuating that everything he said before that is not good. All his kashas and tirus, and they said the last 3 months are garnished. It reminds me of Mordechai. He said the guy asked him a kasha in shir, and he tells the guy, what you're saying is not even shtusim. And then 5 minutes later, another guy asks the kasha, and he goes, that's shtusim. So when a Rosh Yeshiva says, kama malya shmaitza, now you're saying good. That means you're putting him down. Everything else, it's not a nice thing to do. Rashi brings a pasuk, zoynois, zu noah, a whole zach. Well, I found it fascinating that the shlosh says, and we might be over on this in our shul and in many shuls. It's also for the gabbai to get up and say, Rabbi Isai, this is the best aliyah ever. This is Aseres HaDibros. This has the segula to mamish. And last year it sold for X amount. So what you're saying is that other aliyahs are not as chashav. And he's saying it's also to do. All aliyahs are equal, even the clawless. Exactly, it's also to stand up. Very good. They say it's also it says in halacha, it's also to stand up by Az Yashir as Az Yashir starts. You have to be makbid to stand up in the beginning of the aliyah. Aseres HaDibros, a lot of people say, they all stand up. It's a problem in la halacha. Okay. Mamish like that, because you're showing, sounds good. Fine. Amri, Omar Rava, comes Rava and says, my mal yuso, what are you saying that it's a good thing that he said? They're not testifying the same thing. It's terrible what you're saying. You can't take the Dayan is saying that the black star is good. Yossi is saying that the white star is good. Two separate things. One is the hempik. One is the eidos, the signature, the star. Yossi is testifying again. What is Yossi testifying? On the manash of star. He's saying the star is a good star. The Dayan has no clue if there was a halva. He just knows that we were mekayim the star. So they're testifying about different things. Who was Rami's father? Yecheskel. Omar, don't listen to Yehuda. Rav Yehuda, the famous Rav Yehuda that quotes Shmuel everywhere. Over here, don't listen to him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. They say that he wasn't as great as his brother Rav, but he still is his brother. He called him Yehuda. So in other words, we see from here, if you're like Reb Chaim Kanievsky or like Yedidi Kramer, so anytime you ask him in Shas, who was Rav Yehuda's father? He knows right away, Yecheskel. Because in Kesubos, Daf Yomi, it says Yecheskel is his father. Okay. It's interesting just to note the names here. You have Rava, you have Rav Yehuda, yeah? Then we turn to Daf Yomi Amud Beis. Sponsored by Moshe Horn in honor of Rav Tzimendetsky, the only Rebbe that was actually good at basketball, and by Yankel Cohen, the official MDY, MSP, and by Yehudi Newman, in honor of Rebelli, the real greatest Jewish basketball player who ever lived. I found out that Yehudi Newman is the guy I dunked over during a game in New York. Never happened. Okay. Rav Noi, the brother of Reb Chia bar Abba, came to buy sesames. Throughout Shas, sesame was a big thing. People were buying, very busy with sesames. The aid, like we had a second ago, that the Rosh Yeshiva and Yossi Klein, they could get together and talk about a shtar. Now, just real quickly, look at Rashi, the top Rashi, like 4 lines down. Damrim b'kiddushin, Yom shemeis Rabbi Yehuda noilad Rav. I just thought it was fascinating. Rashi doesn't point this out, but these are all the people that we're just talking about. All 3 of them are here in Rashi. The day that Rabbi Yehuda died is the day that Rava was born. The Gemara always says, the day somebody dies, a lot of times a gadol is born that day. So Rava was born on the day that Rabbi Yehuda was nifter. Yom shemeis Rava, on the day that Rava was nifter, noilad Ravashi. So here we have Ravashi also. So anyways, they said over the same thing, and Ameimar said the same words that we said before. Wow, what a beautiful chiddush. A dayan and an eid could get together. Ravashi Ameimar. Mishum the kalsa avua the imach, because Rabbi Bar Chama said it's good. Adam kalsa, you're also doing it. For Parcha Rava already said it's not a good memory. Omer Rav Safra. Omer Rav Abba, Omer Rav Yitzchak bar Shmuel bar Marta, Omer Rav Huna. Rami Lo. You're wondering how come Amud Beis goes quicker. Look, there's 4 lines are just names. Rami Lo, Omer Rav Huna, Omer Rav. Shloisha sheyashvu l'kaim sashtar. Shnayim makirim chasimis yidei edim ve'echad eini makir. So, let's go back a second. Here we go. We have 3 dayanim like in this picture that are coming to authenticate the edus. But one of the 3, he doesn't know if it's a good aid or not a good aid. He doesn't know. He never saw any of the signatures. So what you do is, you take the 2 dayanim that know, they turn into edim. And they say to the guy without the hamburger, and they say, look, like you see the guy with the green arrow, Yossi? That's his signature. We recognize it. You hear? We recognize it. We hear. Okay, good. Now the edim flip into dayanim, because this is in Bezdin. These are the dayanim. You go to Bezdin, you have 3 dayanim. So the edim became dayanim. Eid nasa dayan. Who are the edim? 2 of the dayanim are testifying about the signature of one of the chasim of one of the guys, Yossi. And then they flip in to a dayan. So it's a shas katan alert. Eid nasa dayan. It's a scary concept, but when you see in the picture, it's nothing. Okay. 2 recognize the signature. 1 doesn't. Now, if you see the hempik, the black square, if they didn't sign it, they could testify on it. Why? Because it says in there in a red letter, in a red word, it says what? Tlasa. All 3 have to know about that. How could 2 of them sign on a document that says all 3 of us know? They're going to sign on Sunday. They're going to sign all 3 of us know, and they're going to do this on Monday. That's sheker. They can't sign on something that says we all 3 know, we recognize the signature, when only a few hours later they testified to the 3rd guy and told him about the signature. That's called a sheker. But once they signed, then it's too late. Ask the Gemara, wait a minute. But how do you even write this black document called the hempek? How can you write the hempek? How can you write, we 3 of us know the edus, and then we're going to testify and teach him the edus? So that's what we do, right? We have a blank ksuba and we just fill it in. Are you allowed to do that? It's sheker, right? This hempek that was written before the before we were able to authenticate the chasimas, psula, the whole hempek, the whole black document is possible. The mischazik is shikra. It looks like falsehood. Says the Gemara, mischazik is shikra. Over in our case also, when the 2 dayanim turn into edim and they testify after it was written already. Forget about signed. It was written. You wrote it falsely. Elayim, you're right. Actually, you're right. You can't write the black document first. First, you do the testimony. Everybody is familiar with the edim now. Then you write it. Says the Gemara. So now. From here we can learn 3 simple halachas. Eid nas dayan. We just spoke about that the 3 dayanim, 2 of them turn into eidim. They testify about the signature, then they go back to becoming a dayan. So an eid became a dayan. Right? Without this Gemara, you would for sure say to yourself, it's impossible. An eid is an eid, a dayan is a dayan. You can't mix the 2. You can't make a witness a dayan. No, you could. Ushma amino. If those 2 that know the chasimos, Naphtali and Levi, they recognize it. In other words, if all 3 know and recognize the edim, then there's no need to go ahead and tell them, oh, by the way, these are the signatures of Reuven and Shimon. We know it. Yishkoyach, it's in our head. I don't need you to tell me. And also you see over here that the one that doesn't know, just because 2 out of the 3 know, that's not enough. each one of the three needs to hear that this is the right aid. Maskiv Rav Ashi, so Rav Ashi, even though he seems to be saying very strong, we don't pass him like him, but he asks very good. The first halacha I'm not going to argue on. You see, straight out, black and white, that first they testify, and then they sit down, they put on their dayan clothing, and they're mekayim the shtar. So an aid can become a dayan. But the second thing I don't believe, I don't understand. Why? Because it says in the pasuk, look what it says in the pasuk. There's a mitzvah, there's a chiyuv to speak it out. You can't just have the knowledge in your head. You must say it. So maybe at the end of the day, what's going on here is that they're saying over the Haggadah. V'dayanim, and the other thing is, what's your proof that each and every dayan must hear it? Maybe not. What's going on over here again is this halacha that they must say it out. So they said two, said it to one. You don't have to tell the dayanim. They know it. It's in their head. But what they're doing over here is just being mekayim the chiyuv of Haggadah, of saying it over. So they use this guy as a carbon. But not that this carbon needs to hear it. There's a chiyuv in the bezin to say it. So two said it to one. Rabbi said this over. Oh, we see that an aid becomes a dayan. Oh, look at this case, Rabbi Isa. You have 3 aidim that saw the new moon. Ra'u shloishav and bezdin, but they happen to be tamid chachamim. They're bezdin. They usually sit on the bezdin. And now we know in the time of the Gemara, the time back then, they didn't have calendars. You got to see the new moon, and you had to testify that they saw the new moon, and then they say, okay, mekudesh hachodesh. Yamdu shnayim. So what you have to do is this: you take 2 out of the 3, and they become the Eidim. Then you take 2 more Choshevik guys, you put them together with Naphtali, and they become the Dayanim. So the Eid testifies to the Dayanim, and then the Dayanim, the 3 guys in the bottom, do what? They say Mekudesh HaChodesh. What should have been the halacha? All we need is these 3. Eid Nasadayan. So take 2 out of the 3, and they'll testify to Naphtali. Right? Levi and whatever his name is, the guy without the Hamburg, are going to testify to Naphtali. And then they sit down and they go, oh, Mekudesh HaChodesh, Mekudesh HaChodesh. Eid, Nasadayan. Why do you have to introduce 2 more folks over here? You see that Eid, Loi Nasadayan. So the 2 have to testify in front of the 3. Who says Mekudesh HaChodesh? The 3 on the bottom, the Dayanim. Why? Because Naphtali is not enough. He needs two friends. But if the halacha is that the guys on top could transfer into Dayanim, why do I need another 2? Let the 2 testify to 1, and together they'll say Mekudesh HaChodesh. After the Kashili, yeah, Gewaldige Kasha. I had the question, and I asked the question, and he asked Rav. Finally got to Rav. And Rav said, don't bring any raya from Eidas HaChodesh. Over there, it's the Eraisa, and in the Eraisa, we're not going to say Eid Nasadayin. The Kim Shtar is the Rabbanon. There's a lot of coolest throughout the whole sugya, since the whole idea of Kim Shtar is the Rabbanon. The Ramekel that Eid Nasadayin have a wonderful day.